Hey, what's up? It is September 12th. September 19th. You guys see everything's up there. Pause the screen if you need it. Mr. Farr is moving forward. You already know what it is. Um, so I just want to talk about the quiz real quick and some of the things that were on there. This is one of the things that were on there. And if you look down here, it says that it's for a pulling force. And so some people put pushing, but just remember, like, you're pulling on the scale. So, on the spring, right? So you're pulling on the spring, and that's kind of how that works. So we use these in class. So make sure that when you guys are answering questions, especially if it's tools that we used in class, think about like how you use it and how it works. Okay, that will help you answer the questions. Also, we had these questions in here. They were pretty simple and straightforward. Most of these, and when I say simple and straightforward, I just mean they were vocab, right? They were just vocab that you just needed to make sure that you memorize that what a force is, what interacting objects is, also what motion is. Now, this one down here, Newton's third law, that one down there, that one was a little bit different. You had to make sure that you put that for every action force, and some of y'all left out the F word, okay, so make sure to leave the F word in there. So for every action force, there's an equal and opposite, again, F word, reaction force. Some people put equal or opposite, but just make sure that you had all those words in there, okay? So everything's important that we're talking about. It's a force, it's an action, right? That it's equal and opposite, that it's also a reaction force. So just make sure that when you're like memorizing things that you memorize everything that's in there. Okay, this was one that was a little bit difficult. So make sure to read the questions properly. So the C in CER stands for, and the answer should have been claimed because we're only asking about the C in CER, right? So claim, evidence, reasoning. A lot of people put that as the answer, but again, only the C stands for claim, okay? So make sure that you read the question appropriately and then answer it, okay? All right, here we go here, okay? Here we go here. You guys should remember all these questions. These were all questions that we went over previously. And then if you click here, right, and look at the question that was on the actual quiz, it's only really, I went from 9 pounds to 19 pounds. So again, if you practice these, then I wasn't making a big leap in the question, okay? So make sure that you guys like are practicing these things and you fully understand them. And if you don't, then use the tutorials that were given to you, or go find some of your own tutorials, or you could go to actual tutoring, to the real tutorial, right? Or you could come in during Sting session and do that. Okay, also this one here, I'm not really gonna go over this, but this is a spring scale. And is it close to 1, 2, 3, or 4 newtons? And so I'm hoping that you're able to read it and say, well, it's not exact, but it's the closest to 3. So I should have put 3 newtons, right? Okay, cool. Let's move here. We're just going to talk about this for a second. All right, so when we talked about rounding, this seemed to be difficult for folks. So just remember this. Everything that is to the left of this decimal place, all of these are what we would call whole numbers. So all these numbers over here are whole numbers. Then once you get over here, now we talk about decimal places, right? Now, Mr. Farr, the reason I put myself here is because I'm never going to have you guys round beyond 2 decimal places. But I always will stipulate, right? So I can say 1 decimal place, so that would be here, the tenths. Or I'm going to say 2 decimal places, and that would be here, the hundreds, okay? So make sure, because I just had someone retake the quiz today, and they were like, oh man, I rounded to the nearest whole number. I said, well, make sure you read and round it exactly where they say to round it. And in the case of what we had, so if you actually look at the thing, the actual answer, right? The actual answer was 84.55. Okay, so 84.55. This was the actual answer, right? Because you had to just put it in with just the numbers. You couldn't put in the units, so newtons, okay? So 84.55 was the answer, but here's the thing. I said round the 2 decimal places. How many decimal places do we have here? We have 1, we have 2. Do we actually need to do any rounding? The answer is no. So if there was another number here, like let's just say it was 3, then we could round. And 5 or more, up the score. 4 or less, let it rest. right? So this would still round to the 84.55. So just remember that when we're talking about 2 decimal places, if it's already in that format, if it's already in the 2 decimal place format, then there's literally no rounding, nothing actually needs to be done. So be confident in knowing these things, okay? All right, cool. Let's move it forward. Blat out. So now we have the alien dad, right, thing going on. So we've been working on this. Make sure that you get this all done, okay? So that this needs to be finished being typed and all turned in. So we're just gonna go over how to like submit this whole thing and make sure that everything is good. So you'll click here to make a copy. Then in this case, in the second step, I'll always put where does the evidence come from. In this particular case, the evidence actually comes from the video. So since it comes from the video, I put the video there. But you'll see in the next coming CERs, it'll should be like, oh, the experiments we did on Explore 2, pages 17 to 22. So it tells you exactly where the evidence is located and where you should be looking, right? And then you got to basically make your rough draft, right? Go through your whole rough draft inside of your journal. And then we've already done all of those things. And then make sure, and then we'll talk about the paragraph and all those things right now. So let's go ahead and pause this, and then we'll get to, okay, so in modules here, you see her dad is an alien. Totally cool. All right, so we're gonna click here to make a copy, and I know Mr. Farr has a lot of things open, sorry. So I'm just gonna put that there, okay? And here I need to make a copy, so file, make a copy. So I'm gonna make a copy, and then right here where it says first and last name, that's where you're gonna put your first and last name. Also, then I'm gonna click here, right here where it says folder, and I wanna save it in my science folder. So I'm gonna go ahead and click that. I'm going all the way out. There's my science folder right there, click there. Say select, make a copy. Blat out. We done with that part. Now we're on to our copy. It's got our name on it. Everything's good. So this is where you would type your question. This is where you would put the claim. This is where you put the evidence. Here, I do want to point this out here. This is a reasoning paragraph. So I know inside we had you we had you make reasoning sentences. That was to help you with the formatting of things. But here, you need to type your typed reasoning paragraph. So you should have a rough draft for your paragraph, and then you want to read it as you're typing it in and say, does it make sense? Does it sound good? Does it flow well? Are there run-on sentences? Where's my punctuation? So you're kind of like regrading, and that's the whole point in a rough draft, okay? So you'll type your final draft in here. So you'll have all of these filled up. Totally cool. Then what you'll need to do is you'll need to take a picture and you'll need to submit it. So peep this out. We're gonna do it just like this, okay? This is exactly how it would work. So I'm just gonna say insert, and then I'm gonna say image, and then I'm gonna go to camera, okay? So that is the easiest way to do it. And I'm gonna say yes, I'm gonna allow it to use my camera. Oh, and then I can't use my camera because I'm currently using my camera right now, okay? So I'm currently using my camera, so I can't. So then I'll just scan it, blat out, scan that whole thing right there. Right, and then the picture will just be right here. Now let's just say I use my phone to scan the picture, right? This is the way I would do it. I would use my phone, I would scan the picture, I would put it into Google Drive. I believe this is the easiest way. That way you can do insert, image, and then you can say, oh, where's my Google Drive? Oh, right there. I don't know why I lost it. So it was the first one. So insert from drive, and as you can see, I have some pictures, right? So here's a picture that I uploaded of a document. Cool. Now this seems like too big, so I'm gonna make this a lot smaller. Okay. Again, all I'm doing is just dragging to make it a little bit smaller. Okay. Totally cool. So have that in there. You do want to make it readable, so I'm gonna stretch it down at the bottom like this, because now that's making it readable. And because Mr. Farr is feeling froggy, I'm going to go ahead and crop it too. Because I'm like, I don't need my feet in the picture. Oh, there we go. Now it's actually looking like something that is legible and readable. Cool. So now I can read that. I can look at that. Mr. Farr can zoom in and see what's up. As a matter of fact, let's try and zoom in and see what we got. Yeah, see, totally can read that. Totally fine. So let's go back to the fit. Whatever the fit seems like that. I don't like it. Going back to 90%. All right, scroll down. So now here, this is where you need to actually grade your actual CER. So do I have a claim that answers the question? If that's correct, then I'll just leave that highlighted, 7 points. And then let's just say, let's look at the evidence. I used 3 pieces of evidence. Yes, I cited 3 pieces of evidence. So that is what should be highlighted. So I'm just going to go ahead and highlight over that. And then I'm going to click the yellow. I'm going to click, oh, let me not go too fast. I'm going to click right here where it says highlight color, and I'm going to make it yellow. Then I'm going to go over this one. Again, I'm just going to highlight that portion. And then I'm going to click where it says highlight. I'm going to say none. Boom, that takes it off. So again, you just want to be able to do that for all of these and say which is the one you think it is. So down here in the reasoning, in my reasoning paragraph, are there 3 pieces of evidence? Is my claim in there? Did I use academic vocabulary that connects this evidence to the claim? Did I do that? Did I also include the question? If I did all those things, then I should be at an 8. Again, I would highlight that and I would just go like this. Boom, click the highlighter, and then there we are. So now it's highlighted. So as I'm going down, I'm doing all that stuff, and then what I want to do is add up all the points at the bottom. Now this is how you get the points for the rubric, okay? So you're grading it out of 30. It's 2.5 and 2.5 points. 2.5 points means you highlighted everything and then you gave a point value down there for the rubric. That's 2.5 points, okay? The second 2.5 points, that is if your grade that you graded yourself lines up with mine. That's how you get the other 2.5 points. So if it's close to it, then I'll give you the points. Now here's the thing about the rubric. If you come down here and you score yourself like a 16 or a 20, then what you need to do is all the places you didn't get 100% on the rubric that you graded, okay, the rubric you graded, then you're going to have to, then you should go back and fix those areas that are not as high and get it so that you can get a 30 out of 30, right? And then you'll grade yourself, okay? Then you're ready to submit this entire Word document, okay? So that's how you submit this whole thing. That's how this whole thing works. By the way, this is how your CERs will work for the whole rest of the class. So this is how they are done. So make sure that that's how you do them. Also, I just want to put this out there. In that evidence box, it should look like the one behind me. So see how this one has them all in there, right? And it's just bullet points. Again, on your evidence box, it should just be bullet points. Or you can put 1, 2, and 3. I think I'll format how you guys do that maybe on the next one. But again, 1, 2, or 3, or bullet points. Totally fine either way, okay? And it should be just short. Boom, boom. What are the pieces of evidence? And for you guys, I have 6 in my box. You guys should end up with 3 in your box, okay? All right, cool. So I think we're almost to the end of this video because I think the rest of this time is spent just on you guys actually having work time. So go ahead and get to work. This is due today on Tuesday, okay? So it is due today on Tuesday. All right, y'all. Peace.